Let's change speed now. The Battle of Isandlwana musical lecture is being staged in Johannesburg this week, or the end of the month, I'll stand corrected. The African Heritage Ensemble, an a cappella group, tells the story of the triumph over the British Army. In 1879, Zulu forces overwhelmed British soldiers in what is now KwaZulu-Natal. It was the first of the Anglo-Zulu Wars. Now, veteran singer and songwriter Mbuso Khoza joins me now here in the studio to tell us more about his musical commemoration. Mbuso, thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday. Let's just get that correct. Which date is the musical lecture taking place?
25th of January.
The 25th of January. Many people will now be watching this and they hear the date 1879. Now, for many, especially our younger viewers, that's ancient history. Why is it important to tell this story?
I mean, what we are today is an interplay between the past. So the present interplays with the past. So there's no way that you can keep moving without knowing where you come from. And especially the colonial challenges that we are facing even today, they will only be able to be addressed by revisiting these sets of events that we have encountered as Africans. So the Battle of Isandlwana in 1879, January 22, took place in the north of KZN. The key players on this battle was King Cetshwayo. The general commander was Mchingwayo Mahole Khoza, Lord Chelmsford, Sethia Fellas Shepstein, and many others. I won't dwell on the English people more because they victimized our people. But now it was an ultimatum by Henry Battle to King Cetshwayo that they want the jurisdiction of England to be used in the land of the black people when they had nothing to do with it. So I think that's where the battle started. That's what caused the battle, because they wanted us to function under their laws. There's a guy called Umehloka Zulu, Kasihao, who killed one of his mothers because she was fornicating with the people who were working in Pietermaritzburg. They were building the roads at that time. So now, because he was a man of Cetshwayo, so the British law said, no, this will be taken care of by our laws. And then that's when the dispute started.
And the strategy with which they came to victory is the one that I believe you focus on in this lecture that you're giving, that you have these warriors coming up against the so-called Western powers, and they were able, through specific strategy, to be victors during that battle.
Definitely, the focus is on that, but moreover, we are trying to address this as an example of unity. Today's leaders, today's government, I think they can learn a lot from that event, because it is said that in preparation for this battle, head of the houses, they would call their heirs and say, if we don't come back from this battle, take care of our homes. Because they knew that the English people were like ahead with technology in terms of the weaponry. But they were prepared to die not because they were going to get tenders. They were prepared to die not because they were going to gain influence. They were prepared to die for the future of their kids. So now, this find place for the heritage in the modern life, or in the modern day. Because when we go back and look at the Battle of Isandlwana, why were they fighting? It's because the land, they were protecting the land. They were protecting their language. Because once you can't speak your language, you are dead. So, yeah, I would say Battle of Isandlwana is much exemplary in terms of finding space for the heritage. And now, if we come together, this lecture won't be about glorifying the Zulu nation, But I'm trying to position this particular event as a South African victory, because now we are faced with tribalism, xenophobia. But if we come together as South Africans, we will be able to assume our space in an international world, our heritage. I mean, our culture will produce heritage that will be consumed by the world.
So the point you're trying to make is that this wasn't merely a lesson to be learned as a nation of the Zulus, but an African victory in that time.
Definitely, definitely, because it's not only the Zulus who were faced with colonialism. Even King Mshweshwe fought with the British. Sikonyela was humiliated by the Afrikaners. This is why in Zulu, sithi kunamasongo kaSikonyela, because he was handcuffed.
So the tradition of storytelling is one of the most ancient skills on the African continent. You've decided to use music to tell this specific story. The your African Heritage Ensemble uses a cappella music.
Yes.
So that is the tradition of song without music. Why did you decide that this would be a great way to tell this story?
Music is a natural drug. I mean, if I were to sit here and narrate history, I'm sure some of the viewers will sleep. But if I were to come with the African Heritage Ensemble and sit here and say, in 1816, King Shaka composed this song, it will fascinate the listener. So I think that's why I decided to take this as a musical lecture, even though a lot of history will be shared around the Battle of Isandlwana. And again, I wish to overemphasize that this is not a retelling of the musical, the history of Isandlwana, but I am trying to pin out a few aspects of it that could be a lesson into the modern day.
Now, those people who decide to come, who do you think this musical lecture will appeal to? And do you think younger people will find this appealing, as well as people who perhaps don't speak Zulu?
As I said earlier, this is not a glorification of the Zulu nation, but this lecture seeks to unify our people, because next year we will try and look at King Mshweshwe on his achievements around the struggle against the colonialism. Therefore, what I'm trying to say, I did a show last year at the Joburg Theatre. I saw like a 5-year-old screaming. So this will appeal to each and everyone who will be there. And this is a very important initiative to safeguard and protect our heritage, so that we are presenting a better future for our kids. If you look at how Americans have achieved this, look at Beyonce, look at the music of the slaves. Swing low, come. But if you check on how they used to sing this music in the older day, they would like, oh yeah, the older man. But if you listen to R&B, gospel, you listen to blues,
that's where the roots are.
They still have those roots. But in Africa, we don't hear Mikorotlo or Huhobela from Abesud. We don't hear Amahubo in the music of today. It's so American influenced. So this initiative will at least leave an archive for our kids. I think that's the best we can do for our kids, not to fight against each other as the elections are coming.
But to celebrate each other.
But to celebrate each other. And another thing, we should abstain from trying to accept difference. You're an Indian, you're a colored. We need to celebrate difference.
And music is just a fantastic way to do that, isn't it?
Exactly.
So just very quickly before I let you go, the details for this African Heritage Ensemble musical lecture, the 25th of January, where?
At the Joburg Theatre from 7:30 in the evening.
Okay, fantastic.
1900. Yes.
We'll be sure to keep people updated on that. Thank you so much for your time, and all the best with the important work that you're doing, telling our stories.
Thank you so much. People can catch Umbuso Khoza on Instagram and Facebook as well, so that we can continue with this particular topic.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in. That's